Hi, it's Vic. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm sharing a sweet platypus card made using uniquely creative products. So for the card today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be doing some masking. So to start with, I've got the one-of-a-kind stamp set, and I've just started off stamping the bottom part of the card. And when you are doing a one layer card with masking, it's really good to use some Copic friendly cardstock so your markers won't bleed. And now I'm just placing the platypuses on the card and also the frogs, and these images are so sweet. I loved stamping these and they were super fun to colour too. So once you have stamped all your images and placed everything where it wants to be, I'm then going to go ahead and move on to the masking. So I've got some Inkadinkado masking paper here. And this masking paper is the best to use because it just peels off very quickly and nicely. So what I'm doing here, I'm stamping out all the frogs and also all the platypuses and then the little flowers. And then I'll be going ahead and fussy cutting all the images out, and this bit does take a lot of time, but it really is worth it and it's fun to do also. So now they're stamped out, I'm cutting out the little frog first. So I haven't cut out the arms or legs because they're just far too fiddly, so I'm cutting out the body of the frog, and then I will be placing this over the stamped image onto the card. So now I'm going to carry on and finish cutting out all the other images. Now, even though this does take a lot of time to do, you can save your masked images to use for another day. So just bear that in mind if you're new to masking. And now I'm just going ahead and placing the masked images over my stamped images. And once all that's done, I can move on to the ink blending. So I'm going to be using Distress Oxide inks today. You can also use any ink you have at home, any type of pigment ink. So I've got a blender brush as well, which I'll be applying my inks to the card with. So to start with, I'm just going in with some bundled sage, and I'm just applying this to the bottom of the card using the blender brush, and then I'll be going in with my second colour, which is crushed olive, which is a little bit darker, so I've used that just to add a bit more texture. The next colour we're using is tumbled glass, which is a light blue. So again, I'm just applying this to the bottom of the card and trying to blend it a little bit with the green ink, not too much because I don't want to have like a muddy colour. And I'm applying this to the sides of the card and also at the top of the card. So I've basically covered the whole of the card in ink. And then after this, I'm going in with the Faded Jeans, which is a darker blue. So I'm just darkening up the edges here and also the sides of the card. And then I'll be going back to the tumbled glass just to blend the inks together. So that's one of my tips. If you are struggling with the ink blending, just keep going back to the different colours you've used and blend them nicely together. And then the final colour of ink is Chipped Sapphire, which is a bit more darker than the previous blue. So this again is being added to the top of the card and the sides of the card. Once the ink blending's all done, I've then got some white gesso paint. So I'm just adding a little bit of water to this, and I've got my paintbrush, and then I'm just tapping this onto my card just to add some little white dots for some more texture. And now this is the really fun part, is just peeling the masking paper back to see your stamped images. I love this part so much, it just makes it all worthwhile for me. Also, this would look really nice as a watercoloured background scene. So if you are going to do this and use your watercolours instead of distress ink, just make sure you use a waterproof ink pad, because the Memento black that I used in this video, if you went over it with watercolours, the ink would bleed and it would just completely ruin all your hard work. So just keep that in mind if you are going to be using watercolours. So now we're going to be moving on, and I'm just doing my Copic colouring here. So I've started colouring in the platypuses, And I really wish we had these in the UK because they look so sweet. I don't actually know if they are, but they do look really adorable. So you'll have to let me know, are they nice or are they violent? I've got no idea. Definitely gonna have to read up on them anyway. I'm just going to guess and say that they're really lovely animals, because how could something that cute be nasty? Anyway, I'm carrying on with my Copic colouring, and I've listed all my Copic markers on the screen, and they'll also be in the description box if you're interested in using the same colours as me. And I really like making these one-layered cards because it's nice to do something a little bit different and do the masking and just enjoy the colouring process, because it is fun and the images are so easy to colour too. So if you are new to colouring, then they're super easy to colour and you don't have to feel intimidated. Sometimes when you see stamps you just feel like they're going to take forever to colour, but these are super cute and I really enjoyed making this card today. So now I'm just moving on to my sentiment. So I'm doing some heat embossing. So I've got some black cardstock here and I've just used my Versamark ink pad, and then I'm going to be applying some white embossing powder over this, and I'm going to be heat setting this with my heat gun. And I've used the stamp that's in the stamp set, One of a Kind and Beautiful, which is just really sweet and obviously goes along with the cute platypuses too. So now that's done, I've trimmed down a piece of card and I'm just applying some double-sided tape, and I'm then going to adhere the panel on top of my card base. I've also trimmed my sentiment down, so I've added some foam pads to the back of this and I'm just adhering that down onto my card base. And then to add a little bit more interest to the card, I've gone ahead and got a GO2 Copic marker. So I'm just adding some little green dots, and then I'm going in with the multi-liner pen as well, just to make it look a bit more interesting. And now to finish off the card, I've got some Nuvo drops, and I'm just adding these to my card. And once that's dried, the card's complete. So thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.